People always say you never realize what you had until it's gone. But for Mia, that wasn't true. What she lost didn't stay gone. It came back bigger, richer, powerful, standing in front of her like a mirror she didn't want to look into. And right beside him was a woman who had everything Mia once had, and everything she threw away. The part that destroyed her wasn't that he moved on. It was discovering that the life he built was the same life he was secretly building for her, while she was planning her escape with a man she thought was an upgrade. She never expected Adrian to vanish. She never expected him to rise. And she definitely never expected the world to recognize him before she did. But to understand how she lost everything, you need to see how it all began. Adrian wasn't the kind of man who walked into a room and demanded attention. He didn't need to. He was quiet confidence, the kind of calm that made people feel safe without understanding why. He worked hard, cared deeply, and gave more than he received. He listened. He noticed. He remembered the little things. And that made him dangerous. Because men like him don't stay invisible forever. But Mia didn't see that. She saw stability, predictability, a life without spark. The kind of man women settle down with, not the kind they brag about. Mia lived for momentum, for attention, for the life she believed she deserved. A life above average, above normal, above Adrian. Most people thought they were the perfect pair, the dreamer and the steady rock. But the truth was harsher. Mia wasn't dreaming with Adrian. She was dreaming away from him. And while she smiled through date nights and held his hand in public, she felt a quiet panic building inside her. What if this is it? She'd whispered to herself. What if life stays like this forever? But here's what Mia never realized. Adrian wasn't staying the same. He wasn't stuck. He wasn't comfortable. He was evolving, slowly, quietly, in ways Mia was too impatient to notice. And one day, that evolution would become the very thing that shattered her. At first, it was small things. A sigh after brunch with her wealthier friends. A complaint about the apartment being too modest. A comment about how everyone our age is leveling up. She said them casually. But they hit Adrian like quiet blows he pretended not to feel. He responded by working harder, picking up extra shifts, taking on late-night freelance projects, doing everything he could to make her life feel bigger, brighter. But the harder he worked, the more she felt he wasn't working enough. She didn't want effort. She wanted results. And the more she compared their life to others, the more Adrian felt like a placeholder for whatever future she was chasing. But here's the irony. Every moment she accused him of lacking ambition. He was pouring every ounce of his ambition into building something she would have been proud of if she had waited long enough to see it. While Mia scrolled through other people's vacations and engagement rings, Adrian was sitting at a worn-out desk, building something massive, a business idea, a tech solution he believed in for years, a project that could change everything. He didn't announce it. He didn't hype it. He didn't promise her anything. He wanted to show her. Night after night, while she slept, he stayed awake writing code, testing designs, researching investors. His hands shook from exhaustion. His eyes burned. But he kept going, because in his mind, every sacrifice was for them. But Mia misread everything. His tiredness, his late nights, his silence. She thought he was losing interest, when he was actually building her dream life with his bare hands. And just when he was inches away from turning everything around, someone else stepped into the picture. Damien. Tall, flashy, loud in a way that made insecure people feel secure. He was everything Adrian wasn't, not because he was better, but because he was louder. Designer wardrobe, luxury car, watch more expensive than their rent. He noticed Mia's frustration with her relationship, the way sharks smell blood in the water. You deserve someone who matches your ambition, he told her. Someone on your level? Mia didn't push him away. She soaked it in. The validation, the attention, the illusion. She stayed later at work, stopped responding to Adrian's texts, started dressing up more, not for her boyfriend, but for her new audience. Adrian noticed the distance. He just didn't know he was trying to outrun a man he was already miles ahead of. Mia just couldn't see it yet. One evening, Mia sat Adrian down with the cold confidence of someone who already had a replacement. "Adrian, I need more. I need someone driven. Someone who wants the same future I do." He didn't argue. Not because he agreed, but because he realized nothing he said would matter. She had decided the story she wanted to believe. She packed her things quickly, moved in with Damien even faster, posted aesthetic hints online about her new chapter. But she didn't know two crucial things. 1. Damien wasn't who she thought he was. 2. Adrian's project had just secured its first investor, literally days before she walked out. But she never asked where he had been disappearing to. She never asked why he looked tired. She never asked what he was building. She just left. And Adrian? He didn't break. He transformed. At first, life with Damien felt glamorous: champagne dinners, designer boutiques, parties in high-rise condos. But the shine wore off fast. Damien wasn't generous. He was possessive. He wasn't emotionally mature. He was manipulative. He wasn't successful. He was drowning in loans, pretending he was thriving. The man she left everything for turned out to be an expensive costume. Arguments started, then insults. Then nights she cried alone in the bathroom so he wouldn't hear. And while her new world crumbled, another world was rising behind the scenes. A rising tech company no one had seen the founder of. A sudden industry disruptor. A leader investors were chasing but couldn't find. Mia never suspected the truth. Damien cheated, lied, controlled, and eventually his life collapsed under the weight of his fake success. And when he left her with nothing, no stability, no friends, no reputation, she finally realized the depth of her mistake. She reached for her phone, typing Adrian's name through blurry tears. Message undelivered. Number changed. Social media gone. He didn't block her. He outgrew her. Months later, at a tech charity gala her company forced her to attend, she felt like a ghost in a room full of giants. And that's when she froze. Adrian walked in. Not the man she left. Not even close. Sharp suit. Confident stride. People turning their heads just to greet him. He looked like someone who finally realized his own worth. When she whispered his name, he turned with a polite, distant smile, almost like he was meeting a stranger. She tried to apologize, to reconnect, to hint that maybe they could rebuild something. But before she could finish, a woman approached him. Soft smile, warm presence, effortless confidence. Adrian slipped his hand into hers naturally. "This is Alyssa," he said calmly. "The one who believed in my project before anyone else." Mia felt the ground shift beneath her. Alyssa wasn't flashy. She wasn't loud. She didn't need to be. She had the one thing Mia never offered: faith. Later that night, Mia overheard two investors talking. "Adrian almost abandoned the project last year," one said, "until that woman convinced him not to give up." That woman wasn't Mia. Everything Adrian built, every sacrifice, every night he stayed awake, he had been building it for Mia, and she walked away right before it bloomed. Near the end of the night, she pulled him aside. "If I hadn't left," she asked quietly, "do you think things would have been different?" Adrian paused, not with anger, not with regret, just clarity. "You didn't leave because I wasn't enough," he said. "You left because you couldn't see who I was becoming. Alyssa did. And that's the difference that changed everything." He walked away with Alyssa's hand in his, the woman who believed in him when he had nothing. And Mia finally understood. She didn't lose Adrian. She lost the future only he could have given her. And another woman stepped into the life she thought she deserved. Because Adrian didn't level up without her. He became the man he was meant to be, beside the woman who saw him before he became visible to the world.